Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share this this evening. It's something we're very proud of. My name is Becky Weaver. I'm the art teacher at Hanmer School, and I am joined by other elementary art department colleagues. We have Kaylee Ripa from Webb, Erica Richard from Emerson Williams, and Robin Muir from Charles Wright. We're here to present the Empty Bowl Project, Wethersfield Public Schools' very first Empty Bowl Project event. It's an international project to fight hunger. It started 27 years ago at a high school in Michigan in a ceramics course. It's personalized by artists and art organizations on a community level, with each event being self-developed and independent. I first learned about this back in October at the Connecticut Art Education Conference, along with Robin Muir and Susan Kopecki. Sitting through this workshop and learning about this project and its history and the impact it can make on a community left us feeling awakened and motivated to bring it back to Wethersfield.
Hi. Becky and I then brought it back to Sally DeStoli, who immediately caught our excitement and suggested that we contact the Hunger Action Team. We attended a meeting to present the Empty Bowls idea and to see what, if any, part they could play in supporting this project. They had some wonderful suggestions, such as the Mayor's Ball and a potential Keene Foundation grant, and we shared all of this information at the next art department meeting, and we began to plan with all of our colleagues.
Once we had our plan in place and the supplies arrived, we were able to begin. Each one of us approached the project in a way that fit our school and schedule. Some of us did after-school programs, others chose specific classes or groups to work on creating the bowls, and Becky did an after-school program. The students experimented with different clay sculpting techniques such as slab, coil built, pinch pots, and even working on the potter's wheel. Students worked collaboratively to create the bowls, with one or two people creating them with clay and then a different person glazing them afterwards.
We had student volunteers from all 5 schools who took on the responsibility of selling the bowls to people attending the district-wide art show. We had originally agreed on a flat $10 donation, but once we saw the variety and sizes of the bowls, we decided a $10 donation for a large bowl would be appropriate and $5 for a small or a 2 for $10 deal. The students took such pride in selling the bowls and were so excited every time one sold. The students were polite, professional, and well-informed of the reason for the fundraiser. They were able to answer any and all questions that the public threw their way, and there are several of the students who participated in the event here tonight.
Hi, I'm Riley Keene, and I'm a 5th grader at Charles Wright, and I was a part of the Empty Bowl project. And for me, overall, it was a very eye-opening experience to be able to help feed the hungry, because I would never want to be in that situation, and it made me feel good that I was helping them to hopefully come out of that situation.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm a 5th grade student at Charles Wright Elementary School. I took part in the Empty Bowls project. During that time, we created clay bowls and later glazed another student's bowl. I thought it was a fun experience, first of all because I love art and my fantastic teacher. Also because we could make the bowl into whatever shape we wanted. Finally, because it made me feel good to know that the money we earned selling the bowls would be used to help people. I was very surprised and happy to learn how much money we got from selling the bowls. I think we should do a similar fundraiser again next year. We should all think of how the families in need will feel when we give them the security of having the resources that they need.
We have a very short video to show you. He said just push the space.
Give a little bit of your love to me. I give a little bit of
involved for the Empty Bowl project because I thought it was really cool, it was fun, and I learned how to make a lot of pots and bowls, and it was really fun.
So give a little bit, give a little bit of my life for you. So give a little bit, give a little bit.
Pinch pot like this. It's like kind of stick your thumb into a ball of clay and then you pinch around it to make the shape. And then
So send a smile, we're on our way back home. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you gotta feel it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think that this Empty Bowl project was very unique because I think it's cool how one person might have made this bowl, but another person might glaze it and paint it. It's a community showing there's a lot of families in Wethersfield who are food insecurity, and this is showing that they have an empty bowl. So when we are going to sell these bowls for $10, we're going to be giving all that money that we collected for the families who need it. So that's why I think that this Empty Bowl project was very unique.
That was Lily. She's pretty cool. We also have another Lily from Hanmer here who just joined us, and she's proud to stand up here as part of this project. Looking forward, this June 2nd, we are going to be selling the remaining bowls, well, hopefully, as many as we can, at the Mayor's Ball. We've been invited through the hat meeting that we had, and thank you so much to Mrs. Moon for your support at that time. A lot of ideas were generated. We're looking forward to hearing back. Our grant is under review through the Keene Foundation to help fund some future projects. So that's where we are, that's where we're going, and appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? Polly?
I just wanted to say, first of all, we at the Hunger Action team meeting several months ago, Becky and Robin came and made the presentation. And first of all, one of the things that the members of the committee loved was their enthusiasm and how much planning had gone into this and what a great way it was to bring so many kids together. And I just want to say that, first of all, this is always my favorite part of our board meetings, but to have the students come up and be so articulate, I really appreciate, guys, you taking the time to come. And this is a terrific video. You've got some wonderful people here, and I do believe that didn't you already sell some? You've already sold some, so you've made how much now?
So we, at our first event, we did it in conjunction with the art show, district art show, very successful, and we decided, being our first event, and to help perpetuate future events, we would keep 30%, donate 70%. So in all, $641. So that was pretty good for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And not too much advertising on that end. So.
Well, the word will get around. But the other thing I want to ask you, now when you sell the bowl, do you also include soup with it, or?
So traditionally, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Traditionally, an empty bowl project, for example, Manchester Community College has been doing it for almost 20 years, and they donate everything to Food Share. It's a very successful event. There's food involved. Being our pilot year, our first meeting with Sally, we decided let's keep it where we feel like we can manage it. Let's keep it even just to the elementary schools, because that's how we meet mostly, is among an elementary art department. So This year, there wasn't any soup because we didn't have the funds to rent a space. But typically, and what we're aiming for, is to solicit local restaurants to donate soups, breads. We've got a lot of great local restaurants for that. Maybe placemats through Minuteman Press and things like that with advertising. But a lot of thought will go into it, and that's our goal, is to have a nice isolated event where we can do something like that.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just want to thank you. It was excellent. And working with children, it's hard to teach them character traits just by talking to them, but to show them through this program compassion and to have pride in their work, that was a wonderful idea. Thank you for doing it. Thank you.
Mrs. Granato, if I could also add, one of the young ladies talked about how good it made you feel. I have to say that I went to the art show. I purchased 2 bowls. I see my salesman, actually, he's sitting out there, he is. And for me, it felt good to make the donation, but I get the lasting effect of having 2 beautiful pieces of artwork in my office. So thanks to you students, and again, our wonderful art teachers, thank you for taking the initiative and making this district as great as it is. Greatly appreciated.
Thanks again. Okay, so we'll move on, and we have quite a few minutes to approve here. So next on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular Board of Ed meeting on April 25th, 2017. Are there any corrections? Okay, may I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain. Those minutes are approved. Did you get the abstention? Okay. Continuing for the approval of the minutes of the special Board of Ed meeting on April 25th, 2017. Are there any corrections? May I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstention?
Abstain.
I'm sorry. I had the wrong minutes in front of me. I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay. Are you an abstention?
Yes, I am.
Got that, Ellie? Yes. Thank you. So those minutes are also approved. To continue, we need to approve the minutes of the special Board of Ed meeting on April 27th, 2017. Are there any corrections? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second, okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Those minutes are approved. And finally, the approval of the minutes of the special Board of Ed meeting on May 4th, 2017. Are there any corrections? Okay, may I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Those minutes are approved. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Please come on up to the podium and state your name and address. And may I remind you, the public comments are limited to 5 minutes. Okay. Mr. Emmett, do we have any communication to share?
We do this evening. Thank you, Mrs. Granato. Good evening, everyone. Just a few updates here. Obviously, with the state of the state and our budget, this has been a very difficult process, as you know. We are still awaiting an allocation from the town of Wethersfield. Obviously, town of Wethersfield waiting to see what's going to happen with the state. We were charged with coming up with a variety of different budget reduction scenarios. We have 2 versions of that. I would certainly imagine that there will be other versions as we move forward with an allocation. What I will say to you and to everyone is that we want to deal with any reductions in a manner that does not harm our programs, that does not harm our class sizes, and keeps this district whole. So we, in the event that we have to come up with reductions, will be looking for as many non-educational entities as possible, knowing that full well we came in at a 2.94% increase, which contained no initiatives. That was maintaining what we had. So Again, these reductions, should they come to fruition, are going to be difficult. But I know we've already had discussion at a recent special board meeting last Thursday. We've had conversations with town council as well. The communication will certainly continue as we move forward. I want to give you an update on the principal search for Highcrest. The committee did interviews last week. And again, the process of going through these interviews, it was an all-day event with multiple candidates coming forward. The committee sent forward to me 2 candidates. I interviewed one on Friday. I interviewed the other on Monday. And I am pleased to say that I should have a candidate coming before you. We'll be looking for the potential of a special board meeting next week, as I don't want to wait until the next regularly scheduled board meeting. So be on the lookout for that. We have a couple of events coming up. Tomorrow evening I'll be attending the annual Wethersfield Chamber of Commerce Awards dinner at the Wethersfield Country Club. Tomorrow evening we will honor Mr. Michael Maltesi, our athletic director, as our educator of the year. As many of you know, Mike, over the past 3 years, has juggled being an assistant principal, being an athletic director, and trying to get through a major renovation project, which displaced teams, displaced sports. It was unbelievable. So he's done yeoman's work. He is a very visible presence, well respected among athletes and parents, and we're very glad to honor him tomorrow. Also tomorrow evening, the WSPC Volunteer Awards will be taking place at 7 o'clock at Webb. Mrs. DeStoli will be attending that event. And it is that time of year. We're dealing with a lot of great events, so please check your calendars. Tomorrow, with regard to administrative team, as you may be aware, the administrative team meets the day after a board meeting. So one of the things we will be looking at tomorrow is staffing with regard to class sizes. We'll be looking at our projections. We'll be looking at retirements and seeing how our classes are going to spread out for the course of the next year. And then in addition to that, just to let you know, with regard to some of our projects, at this point in time, the Emerson Williams gym floor, the expectation is that that will be replaced over the course of the summer. Again, this is an issue we did submit to KERMA. There was an issue with moisture getting in underneath the surface, and it started to bubble. Not acceptable, so we'll be working on that. Mr. Bushy also explained today that he's having an issue with bathrooms at Silas Dean. He's repaired once, believes that there is another leak, so he'll be taking a look at that over the course of the summer when we can turn off the water and not impact programs. Beyond that, in terms of summer programs for Mr. Bushy, he reports that it's just going to be primarily cleaning. His budget is pretty tight. With regard to capital improvement this year, he does report that the capital improvement budget this year calls for $55,000 for door replacement, and he is going out to bid on door replacement at Charles Wright Elementary School. And again, he's also in the planning stages of the diving board and starting blocks. Although that money will not come available until July 1st, he is in the planning stages of that at this point in time. And with that, that's communications.
Great, thank you.
Could I just ask one question?
Sure.
Could you just clarify for me, the $55,000 that Mr. Bushy that has been earmarked and for the doors, that is capital improvement from this year?
Yes.
It's not going against the amount that we were allotted for next year?
That is correct.
Okay, so this is an additional
That is correct.
thing, okay.
Any other comments?
Are we going to
Diane?
be on schedule and ready to go out to bid? So the, all the swimming pool improvement stuff will be in place by late August?
Yes, that's the intention. In addition to the diving board, and again, as I mentioned at the previous board meeting, we're looking now at the diving board from the perspective of if we replace it and replace the frame, does it meet CIAC standards? Remember, we have a 10-foot pool and it needs to be 12-foot. We're grandfathered, so we're going to have to look at that. In addition to that, Mr. Bushy will be draining the pool over the course of the summer because he is needing to do some tile work. The other aspect that will be done, the construction company will come back and put up the sound baffles. And Mr. Bushy's crew, he's got 5 able-bodied individuals that are going to put up the new record board. So that's coming as well. So, yeah, our expectation is that we'll be ready to go. Again, one of the things we'll be looking at, because we're going to potentially be drilling into that floor, we are going to look and make sure that we test for any hazmat. So.
That always works out well for us.
Want to put it out there.
Anyone else? Okay, then we'll move on to our agenda items. Janet, would you please read motion 6A?
Move that for the 2017-18 fiscal year, the Wethersfield Board of Education continue to certify with the Connecticut State Department of Education that food sold to students separately from reimbursable school meals will meet the Connecticut nutrition standards. And further move that the Board of Education will continue to allow exemption for the sale of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standard provided.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Wasn't there more to this?
There was, the sales have to be limited to certain
Right,
things
no.
that are identified
Oh,
there.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. You didn't read it all. So, okay, thank you.
Diane?
I realize we have to support this. We have to support this in order to continue to get funding.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm reluctantly going to vote for it. I've always had an issue that, that the kids can't have bake sales in school, especially at the high school, or sell, like candy things to raise money for Valentine's Day and those types of things. I just found it very restrictive. Although I will say, as a working mother, the day they said I didn't have to bring cupcakes in anymore, I was happy. But I just think it's restrictive, and we don't teach our kids moderation. We just take it away from them. But I guess our hands are tied until Washington wipes out this whole program.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably working on it as we speak.
The exciting thing is that we can go talk to the state of Connecticut about this.
Yeah.
And see if they would like to change it. Kevin, what do you think?
That always works out well for us, too.
Anyone else with comment? Thank you, Diane.
Could I ask a question? I understood that this really dealt with our lunch programs as opposed to cupcakes and things that kids would be selling for fundraisers. Am I right or wrong there?
Yes, you're correct.
So if they wanted to do cupcakes or fundraisers or candy sales, this does not apply to that.
We continue to discourage that and it's multiple perspectives, and I get the piece being a parent myself. Part of the issue too is we deal with students with allergies, and when you're bringing in food, cupcakes or other cookies and things, you may have a situation where you have nuts. That's part of the issue. And I think, Diane brings up a good point with regard to Washington. As you know, it was recent that the president is looking at relaxing guidelines with regard to lunches around the sodium content and, the whole grain approach. So I do think that we're going to see changes coming forward with this as we move forward. But again, with our participation in the healthy food certification, I am proud of the quality of the food that we have. Again, as a gentleman that truly enjoys pizza, when I heard that we were going to the honey wheat crust, I was not necessarily thrilled with that. However, I think from a health perspective, it's well liked by the kids, and it's a healthier alternative.
And it's very good.
It is. I agree.
And this, I'm looking at Sally out there. This is all part of the wellness program too, is healthy eating. That's what, Diane?
So what you're saying is this policy doesn't preclude the kids from selling candy during the school day, like in the cafeteria, to raise money for the Honor Society or something?
Not during the scope of the school day, no.
Oh, because in the past, they haven't been allowed to do that.
If it's after school, they're permitted, but just not during the school day.
That's as I understand
That was
it.
a board policy, not this policy.
That's what I understood. It was something that we were doing as a district, but it had nothing to do with the Healthy Foods
We
program
changed
that was required
at
by
policy and
legislation.
planning last
That's
week.
right.
So they'll be able to do.
Bring back the cupcakes.
Diane doesn't want to bake them though.
My kids are too old now, so I don't have to. It wasn't necessarily baking, it was like that 8 o'clock in the morning standing in front of waiting for Stop and Shop to open their doors. That was stressful.
Anyone else with comments on our healthy food? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion 6A passes. Diane, would you please read motion 6B?
Move that the Board of Education approve the attached proposed schedule of regular Board of Education meetings for the 2017-2018 school year.
Okay, so is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion 6B passes. Okay, next we have our Board of Ed meetings held and reports from the chair. We did have, probably heard on all our minutes, a special Board of Ed meeting, our retreat on April 27, 2017. I want to explain this to you. The board met and has met in a retreat model with Lyle Kirkman and Jeff Eichler. They are working with the administration and the board to achieve simplicity and focus in all our work. The board is working through a steering committee to create a strategic plan. John Cassio and I are co-chairing this committee, and with the entire board, we are working to finish a draft for a Wethersfield Public Schools strategic plan. We have worked on a vision and mission statement, goals, strategies, and some action items. The board's desire is to have the public give input to this plan in early summer. The final plan could be in place before the start of the 2017-18 school year. And what this would do is that it would have everyone working in alignment with the same goals. A quote that we all heard and became a driving force to achieve this strategic plan is from Thomas Friedman, and thank you for being late. And I quote, "So at a minimum, our educational systems must be retooled to maximize these needed skills and attributes: strong foundations in writing, reading, coding, and math, creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, grit, self-motivation, and lifelong learning habits, and entrepreneurship and improvisation at every level," unquote. We look forward to completing this important task and hearing from our town citizens, and finally utilizing the plan for our system next year. Okay, so comment on Community and Public Relations Committee. Kevin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met last week, the committee did, at the high school, which was, it was nice to see. We met with Sue Coco, the committee did, as well as 2 Wethersfield High School students. They walked us through their physical space with the TV studio. We got to see kind of how the board could utilize some of the technology that the high school has, that is state-of-the-art, and also utilize some of the expertise that these students have, which, as we found out, was vast. And they walked us through kind of their thoughts and ideas of how we could best use them, be it with a community show where they wanted to highlight town events, school activities, athletics, health, and have the superintendent have his own show once a month. They would produce, write these shows, and as well as be able to put them up on platforms on social media, Twitter, Facebook, but also email out these to faculty, staff, email lists, and throughout the public access that we have here in town. And we talked further with these students about how they could utilize this as a possible capstone for when they were sophomores, but in their junior and senior year, and then have this move on. You know, once these kids graduate, you know, these shows will stay in place. So it was interesting to see. It was great.
Sure was. Any comments on it? If you were there, it really was fascinating. These kids do have a vast knowledge. Elaine?
I was there, and not only was it fascinating to see what we provide our students in the state-of-the-art materials, but we have a fantastic teacher who is willing to work all kinds of hours with these children, Sue Coco. And I mentioned that the setup allows for so many career opportunities when they come out that they can list on their resume. It's just a phenomenal setup, and I'm so appreciative that the state and town people voted for yes for that Wethersfield High School renovation.
Thank you. Anyone else? John?
One of the other observations was with regards to the 2 high school students, that they're only sophomores. So they're already involved, entrenched into the ability to be a part of this program. And they're witnessing the growth and the ability to move this program and getting other students involved, which is really positive for the whole program. And that was great to see. One other observation, could you just change the minutes, correct my last name? It's spelt wrong.
Oh, and the minutes for the,
I had to ask, we had a new person at the meeting.
yeah, is this for community?
Yes.
This one, the minutes for that?
The
Okay, not
attendance.
yours. Okay, you're all Valley.
That's on you, Kevin.
Yes, John Cascudo.
At least you're not
When
John
was-
Doe.
When was he elected?
Any other comments?
Been working a lot of late nights.
I was impressed that you got the minutes.
Janet?
I have to say that I was at that meeting, and it was so exciting. I was so excited for them. We were all excited. I think the two students that were there were surprised at how excited we were with their ideas and how much we wanted to support them and all that we could do for them. And then as they showed us around the school, the excitement that they had and showing us and how attentive we were to listening to them, they were quite surprised. And I really can't wait to see what comes out of it, because I think it's going to be a great program. They did say they wanted to make it like a 30-minute program, and wanted to do it over the summer, which really impressed me even more. To work over the summer, the two of them together, and hopefully get some other students involved to help them, so they're not doing all the legwork and maybe not micromanage the whole program. So it was really exciting to see that.
Anyone else? Okay, it was a great meeting. Policy and Planning Committee, Polly?
Yes, thank you. We met last week, and we actually, one of the policies that that we looked at was 6142.101, which is the student nutrition and wellness policy. And the committee looked at it and briefly, and we passed it back to the superintendent with the request that they bring it back to us after Chartwell's has reviewed it to make sure that basically it's following statutes. And we then reviewed the 7,000 series, and we got through that, completed it, and passed it on to the superintendent to pass on to CABE. So that's where we stand right now.
Okay. Thank you, Polly. Memorial Day Parade Committee, John?
Yep. The parade meeting was held on May 3rd. Your minutes were in your packet. You can read them. And one of the exciting things is that you can go to the website and the town's website, Memorial Day Parade, and check on everything. You'll see the parade marshals this year are both individual veterans with service dogs. Their dogs are going to be present with them. Our commander, Thomas Maher, is delivering the address. All of you, I hope, will be able to attend. We have 5 marching bands this year, and we're going to have great weather. The essay contest was decided. Sam Logan, an 8th grade student at the Silas Dean Middle School, has been selected for the essay contest and will be able to read his essay at the parade, and we usually do invite him to come to a board meeting to read it as well.
Great.
So that is a pretty exciting thing. The excitement is really was moving on the parade. We were going in a different venue with Fidelco Guide Dog, and then unfortunately our chair, Larry Spellisy, passed away of a heart attack last Sunday. So it kind of like put us in a situation that we were shocked, like everyone was. But at the same time, we felt that Larry would want us to continue to move forward. He was excited about the year's parade. He was excited about the essay contest, as well as everyone that's been involved with the community. So with that, we're moving forward, and this year the parade will be a memorial to Larry Spellacy in honor of Larry for all his dedication and hard work over the years. So it's this one's for Larry and all his hard work. So we're really sad and send our condolences to Mary at the same time. But we're excited and we're moving forward, and pray for rain. No. If we pray for rain, it'll be beautiful.
Thank you, John. Okay, moving on to our special Board of Ed meeting on May 4th. Oh, I'm sorry, Janet.
Just a quick question, John, on the flags.
Yes.
Where are they being sold?
Um,
The Women's Club is continuing to sell flags.
Yep, this weekend you can go to the town hall.
Town Hall. Thank you.
Parks and Recreation.
Got it.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so we'll go on to our special Board of Ed meeting on May 4th. John Morse?
Yeah, this was not as much fun as the Memorial Day Parade Committee, and I don't think anybody was really happy at what was going on there. This was our board meeting to follow through on council's request to us to provide scenarios for budget reductions at different levels. We have the same, as Mr. Emmett said, we have the problem of we don't know what our allocation will end up being because the town doesn't know what its allocation will be from the state, and the state doesn't know what it's going to allocate to anybody. So everybody's kind of guessing about where anybody's going to end up. But we did the work of figuring out what scenarios would look like for a $500,000 cut, $1 million cut, and $1.5 million cut. And there's going to be a lot of pain to our district depending on where that shakes out. We had a very robust discussion, although painful, about how to meet those goals, and they will include cuts of probably almost everything in the district, and it may include staff cuts, may include programmatical cuts, it may include a lot of things that are going to make a lot of people unhappy. But at the moment, we have no idea which way we're going or how far we're going, so this is really a planning exercise, and we can't really go a whole lot farther than that. So we're sort of waiting to find out what our fate will be from others who will be deciding it, and then we'll have to make our decisions. So life goes on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Wethersfield Early Childhood Collaborative, which is WEC, met on Monday, May 8th at the library. The group continues to be most successful as there were 20 members in attendance, and this includes Kim Bobbin, the coordinator, parents, Wethersfield Library, Social and Youth Services, YMCA, Family Chiropractor, and Nurturing Family Network from the Hartford Hospital. Most recently, funded by the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, the Wethersfield Public Schools will be hosting a pilot summer program for incoming kindergartners with no preschool experience called the Successful Transition to Kindergarten. There will be the first graduating class of parent leaders on May 11th at 6 o'clock at Soundbridge, and already this group is working on their projects, which includes, I love this, BMWs, the Bosnian Moms of Wethersfield, and also working to bring back the Madres Latinas of Wethersfield. Nurturing Families said they were working with Wethersfield families. New parents are being helped and directed to the website. This is the WEC website, which is one-stop info for our families. WEC is moving forward with baby bags to be given to all Wethersfield babies born at Hartford Hospital and St. Francis. So as you can see, this organization gives our education system a strong foundation by working with our youngest citizens and their families. Okay, and the Finance and Information Management Committee, Polly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met right before the board meeting. Our operating budget for the fiscal year is at $56,613,100. We are, there have been, as you were aware, a number of savings that we have realized over the year. We're up to the expectation of $350,000 that will be that we look for savings through, again, through deferred maintenance. That number was actually increased over last couple of months. Also, technology holdbacks, reduction in non-essential, non-instructional equipment. We have some postponed textbook replacements and very limited general purchasing of supplies. So at this particular point, this potential savings that has been identified is at $1,600,000. And what we are looking at this particular point is a reforecast of to $26,929 over plan. So with the savings that have been the result of the spending freeze and basically a freeze in all of those areas that I mentioned, we've been able to bring that. I say we. Our business department has been able to bring that number, that deficit number that we've been talking about almost since November, I think. So things are looking a little bit better as far as what our deficit will be. But I do have to say that that has not been something that was painless. And I think that we really need to thank our staff, not only our business office and that staff, but also the teachers and other staff who have had to feel the pain on this. I know Mr. Bushy has put off a number of projects. We've had some items in technology that have not been purchased, and also with textbooks and other instructional supplies. So it has been a process. We also discussed today the budget, the 2017-18 budget, and Mr. Morris pretty much captured it. The board has done a lot of work on this, and I think also certainly our business office and also our administrators have really had to look very carefully and dig deep. And again, we're going to be looking at some pain, but I appreciate the fact that everybody's come together on this. And Thursday night, while we did have some significant discussion, the good thing is that we've got a board that everybody's willing to listen. We also, one of the things that this committee had done was issue an RFP for request for proposals for our transportation contract, and there were several of us who interviewed the two bidders who came in, and so basically what we're looking for are some additional numbers and hopefully some savings from those two organizations. We hope to have all the numbers by tomorrow, and perhaps if we have a special board meeting for principal, then that we could also hopefully approve a contract. The business office also reported that they have done an internal control review, which the information I think was provided to you, with some which they did very well, and there were some recommendations which they're in the process of either having completed or looking at. The other item was that there is an escrow account that the board has had. Which the way that we had the impression had been that this was being held for the lights for the field. Turns out that it was actually, what was it? It was dedicated to a lighted sign in front of the high school. As you're aware, the issue has come up with a replacement of Catone Field. And so as it stands right now, the committee agreed tonight that at least the amount in the account now is about $22,000. 5,000 of it was a separate donation from the class of 2009. And at this particular point, we need to look into it to see if that particular donation had been earmarked. Otherwise, we will, at least the balance in the escrow account, less the 5,000, will be turned over to the town to at least help with the funding of the study that was done and to go toward the field. And then we'll continue to reach out to the class of 2009 and see what's going to happen with that donation. So that is our report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Polly.
If I could
Any
just
comments?
add to that for just a second. I just want to say that the difficulties with our budget, I think, have kind of brought out the best in a lot of us in ways that maybe a lot of us didn't realize or maybe didn't see coming. It's really very gratifying to see, I think we had 4 board members at last Monday's town council budget workshop involved in the process, not just sitting quietly in the sides. There were 5 board members there last night. Within 3 days of last week, we got a direction to have reduction levels. The administration had put together some packages. We had all met as a group by Thursday to talk through it, even though it was a painful conversation and it involved people either wanting sacred cows or cutting sacred cows. We all kind of came together and did the job. My hat's off to the administration team for having to offer up things that I'm sure they thought were going to really hurt the educational program in this town, and they've done it to do what we had to do. This is a difficult year, but it's really nice to see the 9 of us and the entire administrative staff get together and make it work while working with council to do the same thing. It's wonderful to see the team effort despite what it is.
Can I just add?
Yep, Polly?
I would just like to follow up on that. First of all, this is my 6th budget, and this is the first time that I've seen a board that, while we've always been involved in the process, people who are so actively involved and understand this process as much. And we really are working collaboratively, not only with the staff and the administration, but also with the council. And I think they recognize the fact that how important education is in this town. And I will say that that one of the things that has made our job so much easier, whether we still have a lot of talking to do, but the administration has gotten us information within, we had a conversation Thursday night, and Friday we were looking for more information, and by Monday morning we had it in our email boxes. And this is not these have not been, a lot of the work has been involved a lot of time and effort on the part of the administration, the teachers, and I agree. I think this has been one of this is not going to be an easy process, and I think this is one of the best boards that I've worked with as far as having the conversation. So I really can't say enough about how much I appreciate the staff and the administration and how helpful it's been, because when we've met or when we've attended council meetings, we've all been able to feel comfortable with what we were looking at. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments on our finances? I think we talked it out, huh? Okay, so coming up next, we have meetings scheduled. We have our Student Program and Services meeting on May 16th at 6:30. Correct Council, which is their annual meeting, on May 17th at 3 o'clock. Policy and Planning Committee on May 17th at 5:30. And School Projects Building Committee on May 22nd at 6:30. Okay, is there any unfinished business? Okay, so we'll move on. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Please come to the podium and state your name and address. And may I remind you that public comments are limited to 5 minutes. Are there any board comments? Diane?
Can we announce to, because we were in executive session and we came out and nobody was here when we appointed the principal at Hamner. I think we should let the public know who
Definitely.
we hired.
That's a great,
That's a
great
great
point.
one. That really is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good point. I know that the Hanmer community has been notified. However, let's let everybody know. Very pleased to announce that the board appointed Miss Pauline Greer as the next principal at Hanmer Elementary School. Miss Greer will join us from Mary Griswold Elementary School in Berlin, where she's been an assistant principal for the past 3 years. Prior to that, Miss Greer actually was an employee of the Wethersfield Public Schools. She served in a classroom role as a teacher over at Webb, and she also served as a teacher leader, as a curriculum specialist across the district. She has a strong background and knowledge of our curriculum and our instruction, and think she brings some great experience to Hanmer. And again, heartfelt appreciation to the Hanmer hiring committee. The amount of work that goes into the interview process, it is exhaustive. So, yes, very, very appreciative of the committee. I think you brought forward excellent candidates. So, congratulations, Pauline.
Good. Anyone else? John?
In front of your places, I passed out a board member invite to the Silestine Middle School, extending an invitation to us to attend their Memorial Day celebration on Friday, May 26th. There was a suggestion in your board packet, but this is an actual invitation. So if you're looking to attend, you can RSVP to the individual, Kylene, on the bottom by Monday, May 22nd, and she'll be more than happy to include you in on the guest registration. I did not have the opportunity on May 4th to attend that meeting because I was attending the chamber meeting to select the scholarship recipients this year that have applied. So there was an overlap for me to attend. But the good news is that they will be awarding on May 31st 4 scholarships to 4 individuals, $500 each.
That's great.
So that is a real good situation, and that's one of the things the chamber does as well, besides all the other good things in town. I did give some thoughts and suggestions to Mike earlier on some of the ideas that came up on the suggested proposal. And historically, and I apologize for not being there, but there is some history behind a reduction to the transportation contribution to Corpus Christi School. So I did share that thought with Mike, and I'll have further conversation regarding that particular reduction of $130,000. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes on that particular situation. So, okay.
That's a question. Any idea how long the Memorial Day ceremony would be at Silestine? Yeah. Is that a day event? Is that
well? It's an all-day event because they will have individuals walking in the calf, as well as there's going to be an assembly. But prior to that, the 8 a.m. Is a flag ceremony right out in the courtyard, and the team as well as the administration has been working very hard to get that to go very positive.
Very
so
good.
the kids are working hard, and we've got some veterans involved that you just tell them and they're there.
Yeah.
So
Very good. Very nice.
Where are they going to put everybody?
in the driveway?
If you know where the flagpole is,
Yeah.
after the students are dropped off, that whole area is going to be, no cars can park there. And that ceremony will go right in that area. There's going to be a stage, and they're working on, with the Disabled American Veterans Group, their float to be there as well, so the students can see that. And then the Elks Club, I don't know if it's going to come together, but it's certainly been working on it right now. They have 8 flags, and there's going to be a description of each flag throughout the conflicts in the years. So it's going to be very educational.
Yeah.
So the staff at the Silestine Middle School has been trying to work very hard to get the students another, education, help honor veterans in their community.
Mm-hmm.
Is that flags from different periods in our history?
Yes.
I have a 48-star flag if you guys want to borrow it.
Really?
Yeah.
If you touch it, will it rip?
It's really solid, heavy cotton.
Oh,
It's
my God.
It's an awesome flag.
All right, that's good to know.
Great. Got a lot of things tucked away.
Oh, yeah.
Full of surprises.
Anyone else for comments? Okay, I have a few. The board would like, again, to give out another cheer for all the administrators, teachers, students, and parents who are working on the SBAC testing. And remember, an entire town is behind your hard work and your successes. And every week, and we have talked about this before, the board receives from each principal a Friday update. I know all of us enjoy reading about the work, activities, and innovations that are going on in our schools. Again, we cheer your work, know that we are supporting you, and we do try to get in to see your work in action. But keep it up, please. And part of that work is done by our incredibly supportive PTOs, so cheers out to the PTOs. These parents work tirelessly for our schools, and it's challenging, I know, to make meetings, but please, parents, continue to support your child in their school in whatever way you can. You've heard tonight about the budget. This board continues to work with administration and the town council on this Board of Ed's budget. I have stated that I'm looking for small class size, security for our buildings and students, sports and extracurricular activities, anything that directly affects our students. The yet-to-happen budget from the state leaves us with many moving parts, such as teacher retirement monies and ECS monies, that greatly impact our budgets. But needless to say, this is a very challenging time, and we are working together to find the best answer for Wethersfield. And you know, Connecticut schools are known for their excellence, and this is the contract we made for future generations, and we're going to continue this excellence here in Wethersfield. Yet we are mindful of the circumstances of all the people in this town. This board's guiding principle will always be that there are no cuts that will directly impact our classroom. And on that low note, Jack, can you give us some upbeat notes from the high school?
Sure. So we're in the middle of AP testing, as you know. It's a great opportunity for kids who have taken AP classes throughout the year to possibly get college credit, test their knowledge. Even if, you know, they're sophomores or anything, it's just never too early to start accumulating those credits to put towards their future education. Also, the bowl charity, empty bowl, yeah, that was that would be great to see at the high school. I feel like I know that there's a lot of people, a lot of artists, and a lot of people that just want to get involved. Like Monique, we heard from her a few last meeting, that would love to be involved with that and love to even, you know, if it's helping out the younger kids or even doing it themselves. I think it would be a great contribution to the program.
Yeah.
So that would be nice to see at the high school.
Do you have any dances coming up?
Oh yeah. The junior prom is this Saturday. Senior prom.
Oh, I think I got a tux.
Junior prom's this Saturday. Senior prom is June 10th. Everyone's looking forward to that. It's always a great time of year. So yeah.
You know, I was saying earlier, it goes by so fast. There's so many things going on in a short span of time. Enjoy it all, Jack.
Thank you. I will.
Okay, any other comments, or are we all set? May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and good night.